The last thing we need to do to our ROV is to adjust its buoyancy and trim. Buoyancy is how strongly it floats, and in this example you can see that the ROV we've just built tends to sink slowly. Ideally we want the ROV to either be neutral, which means it just hovers in the water, or it's slightly positive, which means it does actually float up to the surface. This helps us A, recover the ROV, and B, if it's near the bottom, the water's pushing up to keep it down, which stops silt from getting swirled around. So you can see here with one piece of foam we're experimenting, and it still tends to sink slightly. So we're going to add another piece just to ensure that it is slightly positively buoyant. If we add extra foam, we can always cut more off in the future, but it's nice to have some extra because we're typically going to be picking things up, and if we pick up some bingo chips we want it to still be neutral. So here you can see that with two pieces of foam it floats pretty well, but it still comes up fairly slowly. So we're going to stick these two pieces of foam on here, and we're going to put them towards the front a little bit to compensate for any extra weight it might pick up. So when we get the new system in the water, we're going to check a couple of things. Is it neutrally buoyant or a little positive? And does it sit level? And when we tilt it, does it return to level? So we're going to get the air out, and we're going to verify that it does float. It comes up reasonably fast. That'll slow down a little bit when we add the tether or when it picks up some heavier weights. You can see the speed here. Plus it is sitting pretty level, so we've got the second piece of foam in the right place. If the nose was down more, we could add more foam at the front, and if the nose was up, we could move the foam further to the back. And we're going to check that it's stable, and if I tip it comes back and rights itself fairly level. So at this point we're ready to do some motor tests. And we're going to drop a different ROV in the water here just to do these tests. And really what we want to make sure is that the directions are correct. So here you can see we're using the controller to go backwards and forwards, just verifying that it's in the correct direction. And then we can turn left and right and do the same sort of tests. And then we're going to go up and down to make sure that thrust is in the right direction. So at this point everything looks good. We do a little bit more experimenting, but I think it's ready to get into a larger body of water and start collecting some bingo chips or something like that. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope you have fun with your ROV.